What's up, fellas? It's time for the crossover.
Hey.
Willard, you're smiling.
Yeah.
People be coming at me.
'Cause
Steiny
we're here.
teases me thinking, this chair you do more. The fear I have is I can't see a damn thing. So that's my problem. But it is what it is. Dibs, what's up, baby?
You blind? You can't see? Is that what's
I'm
going
not in
on?
the system. Spadoni came in with his glasses. Maybe I need to get some. I can see, but when
Oh, you're talking about reading.
Yeah, reading. When you get
It's a lot. It's a lot going on over there.
Yeah.
It's a lot going on. Yeah.
Tough. A lot of reads and,
It's a lot going on. But
Until
you got
I'm-
it.
yeah.
You're doing great.
As long as you can extend your arm and still be able to read, and right now I'm at full arm length, FP, and still be able to gut it out. But
I don't know why you fight it, Goo. You don't need to fight it.
They say once you get in the system, you need it.
Yep.
I can't tell you that that's not true.
Wait, what's
all
the
I
system?
know that he's talking about
readers,
getting eyewear or readers or whatever.
I'm good on the phone, driving, and everything else, but I went to dinner last night.
Yeah,
shout out to Bennett's, and the menu was in the dark, and I had to get the iPhone light to put on.
I'm telling you,
that bothers me.
I want you to submit because, by the way, you're about 8 years older than when you should have already had to submit. So you're already on borrowed time, number one.
But now I feel like I can accept it.
Dude,
now.
I haven't even turned 50 yet. You don't see me walk anywhere without these. I walk everywhere with these, and it's fine because, the menu will start dancing when you put those things on.
Hey.
It'll be like chicken cacciatore.
Yeah.
It's all over. You'll see it and you'll love it. My eyes haven't gotten any worse since I started putting these on when I need them.
Wow. Hey, did you know it's tick season? Lyme disease is transmitted through the bite of infected ticks. Visit ATCO Pest Control's website today to learn more and take control of ATCOPestControl.com.
See, that was a good
tremendous
transition.
segue right
that was
there.
a great transition right there.
Right from eyes to ticks.
You're looking in that seat.
He's mad at me today. We've been talking about the McCaffrey contract, and I'm happy. 2 years, $38 million. Actually, a raise on what his annual was, $16 million. So a $3 million raise. Kudos.
Yeah.
And 24 guaranteed. That's awesome. I was just trying to bring home the point because, this is all speculation. If I'm Aiyuk, am I like, well, damn, how did Willard go before me? Or is that a nothing burger?
I think it's a nothing burger. In fact, I would argue that while some of us, look at our place. Some of us are full-time.
Right.
Would you get mad if they hired a new nighttime editor?
No.
Okay, now I'm not calling Christian McCaffrey a nighttime editor.
I was
But this deal.
I'll take his job.
His deal.
I'll be the nighttime
This dude
editor.
just showed me his place. It's incredible, dude.
And the talk of his Porsche, I'll never feel bad for you.
You heard that? I'm like, this dude
Was it
just showed me.
969?
No, but that was
Like
funny.
he's in the hood.
Because he was like
$969 Dibley.
Whatever. He's like,
funny.
was it a Porsche 911? And you're like, no, it was a 996 or whatever it was.
I'm like, they made
Midnight blue, mustard interior.
Look at Carter laughing like, he dropped that in
I pulled over when I
911.
heard I pulled over when I heard that. I'm like, you know what? I'm calling in sick. I'm not even showing up. Porsche 969
years ago.
Whatever
I
it
couldn't
was.
afford one tire on that car
I
right
had
now.
a picture in my locker, and I just wanted that car. Barry had it. I'm like, this guy, dude. I love this guy. I hate this guy.
That was very funny.
You give me mixed feelings anyway. I'm
I want to
sorry.
be the night editor.
I'll put it to work.
Whatever that is.
Christian's deal compared to Brandon's is the nighttime editor.
Okay. Oh, that's where you were
versus the
going.
midday
Okay.
host.
All right. You brought that
This
home.
is a
Man.
way more complex deal. He's a totally different position. And Goo, what if I offered you the opposite to your take?
Give it to me.
If I'm Brandon, I wake up today and go, awesome. First of all, my company is paying people. My company is all in on this year. And my company just opened up a bunch of salary cap space for this year.
Okay.
Which
That
is
they
going
did.
to go to my deal.
$25 million?
Well, the Christian thing specifically opened up $7.5 million. Just his deal opened up $7.5 million for this year. They basically took the money and spread it out. So he just opened up more cap space. All indications are that the 49ers and Brandon Aiyuk will both play hardball.
All right.
And so it will, for anybody who's like, so when's Brandon? My answer would be, not soon. It's not going to be this month.
He just went down the last 4 guys.
Yeah.
Bosa. It was all in July.
I don't even think it's going to be in July.
Okay.
I would predict August. And obviously Nick Bosa's was his September?
Right before week 1.
His was his
August,
was in
yeah.
September.
Yeah.
So I would predict August for Brandon, but all indications would be that the 49ers, when they really, really want to take care of a guy that's a homegrown guy, they do. And I have every belief that they will.
I think, just real quick here, this is captivating. And what has me just excited about this is I don't know Aiyuk, but I know people. And when he posted that Instagram of I don't have to share my chicken or whatnot, I get that. Wide receivers are getting paid buku money.
Yep.
But the thing is, some of these receivers are a tad bit more talented than Brandon Aiyuk, who only had 7 touchdowns, and they were all important, 1,300 yards. But he'll never play in an offense like a CeeDee Lamb or a Justin Jefferson or whatnot, and a Jamar Chase where he's featured, where he's the McCaffrey. And I'm wondering if somehow his camp is just, and it's happened, you know what? If I can't put up those numbers, pay me because you know I could if you allowed me, but I'm not. So to keep quiet and be a good soldier, pay me, and I'll be okay putting up pedestrian-type numbers as I watch Sunday night at home, Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb going berserk, getting buku catches and touchdowns.
Right.
I just think there's something to that.
There's a lot to it, and it's not about the numbers. And CeeDee Lamb has been in, I'd have to check the numbers, but you would know this, no conference championship games and no Super Bowls. And Justin Jefferson has got a quarterback controversy there in Minnesota, and they're trying to figure out where to go after Kirk. And yet Brandon Aiyuk is wide receiver 1, maybe. Is he the most important offensive player? No, he might be number 4. We talked about it in the green room.
Yep.
You got Brock, you got Christian, you got Trent, and then George, Debo, and Brandon. They're all kind of in that mishmash of who's number 4, yet he's very important to a team that wins. So that has more value than 108 catches and 12 touchdowns for me.
Receivers also need to be real careful with that game because, you could end up in the featured role or you could end up on the Panthers.
Man.
So that's the end of you ever doing anything ever again. And we've watched that a lot with wide receivers. So I think that there are marketing dollars in play. I think that receivers, I think all employees are aware of what's going on around them. So Justin Jefferson just got 140 mil.
Jeez.
I know it's not guaranteed, whatever he got, 80 mil.
88, yeah.
But he understands also what the Vikings just did is what the Niners were doing 2 and 3 years ago.
Right.
They just reset their quarterback payment structure, and they will now have a rookie quarterback.
JJ.
I mean, I know Darnold's there, but that's not very expensive or long-term or any of that. So, yes, does he probably want to still play on a really good offense with a good quarterback in Brock Purdy? Sure. Does he need to understand that that's about to cost the team over $50 million? Yes. Does that mean he needs to share his chicken?
Yeah, that's what he said.
No, it doesn't, but it does mean you don't suddenly get to say because Justin Jefferson's getting whatever per year that I get a little bit less.
Wow.
His comps have just been paid. We know exactly where this is going, I feel like. This is Amon-Ra and Jalen Waddle, put a couple extra guaranteed bucks on it, and let's roll. This is 28, 29, whatever. The Niners will put that on the table, and if he wants to balk at it because of Justin, the Niners will play hardball.
And you have to ask yourself as an organization, will it change his work ethic? Will it change how he approaches a game? Because sometimes you get that big contract, and all of a sudden you take a deep breath. And then is his priority winning, or is his priority getting paid, or can it be both? Because I think if you're the Niners, you make the argument that your numbers aren't your numbers unless you're with our offense, unless you're with all those other weapons. And if you're just the one guy on an island that I have to take away on a Sunday afternoon, do you have those same numbers? And my recruiting would be like, hey, we're going to have a parade. We're going to win this. And you're lucky to be able to play for an organization that's going to do whatever it takes to put yourself in the best position for that to happen every year.
Right, and that's a good point about, if he goes to be a Panthers and now you're getting doubled every time, are you getting those same numbers because they have no other weapon and you're the guy that everyone's paying attention to, or you're a Niner and, you do a lot of 2 receiver sets and you've got Debo to worry about and McCaffrey and Kittle, and so you get one-on-one all the time and your numbers aren't the best in football, but Mark pointed this out before, and we had TJ Hushmanzada on our show, who is Brandon Aiyuk's personal coach, and yards per catch, he's top 2, and yards per target, and overall yards, he's 4th. And so his numbers, if you look at just catches and overall yards, they're not as big as they would be if he was a Panther.
A Dolphin.
Or exactly, or if he was a Bronco or whatever. But the fact that you win, you block, you play, and you're on an offense that is really dynamic, that's got to mean more to both the team and him.
Something I always look at in situations like this too are like, okay, let's try to go side by side. What is the motivation and what is the cost if they don't do something? The 49ers and Brandon Aiyuk both stand to get whacked in the knee if they don't get this done. Brandon has
Monica
no leverage.
Lewinsky.
None. He has no leverage.
Nancy Kerrigan is what it
If
was.
he wants to sit the year out, he gets to come back and do this again next year.
That was a big miss.
Doesn't get
Yeah.
a year of service, and nothing good happens. Doesn't get paid, nothing good happens. And if the 49ers let that happen, they become a much worse football team in a really important year. So these two sides are both highly motivated to have what we're worried about not happen. And so I always just feel like, it may take longer than we want it to, but they're all not stupid. Brandon doesn't want to sit the year out, and the Niners don't want Ricky Pearsall starting in September.
Gotcha.
So, this will happen. And by the way, we'll have this. I don't know if the guys have it ready yet. Did you hear what Debo said today?
Oh, boy.
No, we did not, Grandy.
It's breaking.
Debo damn well knows that Brandon's going to get signed because Debo damn well knows this is his last year with the 49ers. You can hear it. You can hear it when he talks. Do you have it?
There's a couple different ones. He was asked if he heard the talk about potentially trading him around the draft, and also if he is aware that after this coming season could be his last as a Niner.
All right, so we'll 10 minutes.
All right, guys.
12 minutes.
Tease that.
Whatever.
That's the tease,
We're
people.
going to have that.
Yeah.
Because I thought that spoke volumes about
But it's in his answer. You hear it, right?
He knows, he sounded like Bob Myers at the beginning of the year when it was Bob Myers last year.
But he's no dummy, though.
No.
And he got his bread. He got his chicken.
Well, he's making 28 this year.
Good God.
So, and when you're making 28 and the guy on the other side of the field from you is going to probably get paid about 28 and your quarterback is going to be making 50, not now, but later, and McCaffrey just got his bread and Bosa got his bread, and you're starting to look around and you think about how they're going to need to cut some salary, you're the guy.
Wow. I can't wait to hear that sound.
Hey, the one thing I went to the whole show with you ad nauseum is that you have to take in consideration the history of the Niners and that they always sign their guy. This isn't a cheap
Almost
organization
always,
that isn't cutting corners. It's not like they're trying to save money. They always pay the big extensions, the big contracts of their big players. They do.
But
That's just
we're
how
in
they
the
roll.
process, and without even hearing the sound, just what I'm thinking he's saying, FP, they're in the process of, can I say, the NFL version of having to cut back next year when maybe Debo won't be a 49er because of everything that you've done.
Yeah, I don't care
now
about
paying
next
the
year.
rookie quarterback.
All the chips in the middle.
Totally.
All in for this year.
Oh, there's no doubt.
And then we'll deal with
Operation Super Bowl.
We'll deal with whatever happens.
Super Bowl or bust.
and this-
Exactly.
And
this
they're
stuff-
owning that. Kittle even said it.
This stuff gets super boring to people because I don't even know how. I don't know how many people on the planet understand the NFL salary cap. I don't. I couldn't tell you all the stuff.
And I appreciate the honesty.
Well, but I know little things that I read, and I know this. Like, if you're about to pay a quarterback $55 million a year, you need a lot of cap space, obviously. Cap space that you don't use in any given year rolls over to the next year.
Damn.
So the more that they open up this year, in theory, gives them an opportunity to have more open next year to pay Brock. If they pay Brandon Aiyuk a new deal, the cap number for this year goes down. It gets cut in half of what it currently is at $14 million. So that, again, when you look at all of the motivating factors here, both of these sides would be morons.
Okay. All right.
To not get this done. They'd be morons.
Yeah.
Makes you a worse football team. Brandon gets no money, and it makes it harder to pay Brock.
So Ayuk's payday, it's imminent.
I don't know. Again, everyone's going to bring up DeForest Buckner. Is there a number that someone demands and the Niners are like, we're not doing that? And if you really want to put your feet in cement on that, could someone get traded? Sure. It's on the table.
And I think the Niners would play that different if they had it to do over again.
I don't think they would, because I think that they would have drafted a different player instead of Javon Kinlaw. But I think they looked at that position and thought, we got Armstead, we can move him inside, and we don't really need to have two high-paid guys.
How did that work out, though? Because you're still kind of looking for that guy next to Bosa.
It worked out pretty well. You went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but you didn't win it.
No, but you didn't win it, and it wasn't because of Eric Armstead. Right. I don't think you look at that and go, you know what, if we had DeForest Buckner, we would have won the Super Bowl. You could look at it however you want to look at it. They looked at the position and thought, we don't want to pay two guys $20+ million a year to be in there. And if DeForest Buckner wanted more than they wanted to pay, and they could pay Armstead less and draft DeForest's replacement, in the moment, they thought, all right, Javon Kinlaw, highly regarded first-round talent. Boom, we'll plug him in there. He'll be the new DeForest Buckner. Didn't really work out, but
Chase Young, Randy Gregory,
Javon Hargrave, and
dude,
you've chased it.
The results have not bbeen bad, but that position has not been what they wanted it to be.
It's been a bit of a chase, and you had Kerry Hyder Jr., who you plugged and played in there, but ultimately DeForest Buckner's gone on to be as good as you thought he was going to be. But I think for Aiyuk, the conversation is. What you're just saying is, if Aiyuk comes in and says, hey, Justin Jefferson just reset the market, I want $31.5 a year. Well, now we're in a situation where it might be DeForest Buckner.
That's going to be a no from them dogs.
But remember, the Buckner thing blew up before the draft, and so they were able to get a pick for him in that upcoming draft.
So my sense from that is just what you said. If this was going to happen, it would have happened before the draft. Because what the Niners are doing before the draft, they put such a high price on trade talks because their assessment, I think, was, we think we can get this done.
Yeah.
Now, yes, it might be August. We're all going to posture.
Yep.
But we think we can get this done, or else they would have pulled the trigger.
Time for the legal. You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
I put the over-under August 1st on the Aiyuk deal.
Over.
What say you?
I'm going over 2.
FP?
I'm going to put under, and they should sign DeForest Gump.
Look at you.
To return
That's
guys.
a solid 3.
I'm going to give you a 1. I'm done grading after Monica, and I didn't correct him, and I said that's a 4.
It was
Monica. That was a big miss. I give you, boy, I don't have a red pen.
Monica Lewinsky.
Turn the mic on.
Lewinsky
did not get hit in the knee.
And I said, good call.
Yeah.
I knew who you meant. I knew who you meant.
I want you to finish that.
I knew who you meant.
Monica Lewinsky didn't get hit in the knee by Jeff Gillooly. I'm going to defend myself. Both were semi-victimized white women in the 90s.
You better be careful.
Oh,
That's all I'm going to say, Grandy.
Yeah.
It was before you were even born. You don't know either one of those
Speaking of Stephen A. Willard, he needs to be
here.
careful, man. I know he's having fun, but
Monica McNutt.
Everybody's just mad.
Put him in check.
But the world, I tell FP, why are we so divisive now on everything? Tiddlywinks. People are mad, want to fight. Whatever you discuss, people are mad.
I don't want to defend Stephen A. Smith too much, but when she comes at him and says, you didn't cover the WNBA.
But that was a bar.
Monica, nobody did.
Right.
Nobody
Monica
did.
Lewinsky?
Monica McNutt on ESPN. Yes.
Former WNBA player.
Yes.
I'm not following along with the class right now.
A fireable joke just went through my mind.
Oh, boy, don't do it.
Wow.
We love you.
We're going to keep it right
It's the
there.
Dan Diddley Show.
I got to get off the giant tape.
Just don't say
I'm gonna
that.
get
Finally, my
giant
dream
tape.
comes true. Solo dibber.
Meet me halfway on this giant
Let's
tape.
go.
Because Larry was in here
I had the
yesterday.
same joke anyway. Go ahead.
Larry was in here saying, I'm paraphrasing, he could see him selling. He wants no part of the wild card. Shasky was going crazy in the morning. Our own Grandy alluded to that on Twitter last night. And all I'm here to say is, and I'm a fan, damn, 2 weeks ago, let's keep it real. Everybody was excited about this effing team and the youngsters. There was damn near a parade if you wanted to throw one.
Wow.
And they haven't played the best ball, but I believe the Yankees made it look so bad of what you're not and how far you're away. I just can't believe I'm saying this. I can't believe what I'm hearing from diehard Giant fans, how unhappy they are with over 100 left. That like the immediate 180 is just shocking. Is it that because the Yankees made you look that bad, or the fashion that they did it?
Well, I think it's a number of things. One, the league has adjusted to the young players, and that's what happens. FP can speak to it far better than anybody.
Fastballs no more. Hello?
Exactly. No more fastballs for you. I'm sorry, Luis. You're going to have to hit the breaking stuff. And, Casey Schmidt did the same thing where he came in hot and then he chased everything and he had to get sent down and he made the adjustment. And that's what happens to younger players. But the other part of it for me is that against the good teams, you're not very good. The Phillies and the Dodgers and the Yankees, you're 3-12 against them.
Damn.
And against everyone else, you're 500 or slightly better. And that's just who this team is.
I always think it's hilarious when people do this in June or May.
I'm saying they're doing it now.
Do it if they're out by the
absolutely, yeah. Like
trade deadline.
This conversation doesn't need to happen yet, so you can always hear when someone's just mad. And I understand why you're mad. I am too. But Larry is just mad, and Joe is just mad, and we're all mad.
I get it.
You can all be mad. I'm mad too. Like, that sucked watching that over the weekend. They've got good players, and I wish we had some. And so that stinks. But the whole, the defeatist nature of what happens in a small losing streak, because this is a relatively small deal.
5, yeah.
They've lost 5 in a row. It stinks. Are they a great team? No. But the defeatist nature of looking at that losing streak and going, that's it, we give up, sell. Why? What are we even talking about that right now?
This is coming off of the hot streak where everybody was back in.
I understand that. But my thing is if you want to do that, you can say it. Don't come back. Don't come back in a month if they win 7 in a row. Don't come back around and say, because we watch people go back and forth on this. I loved Joe's rant yesterday, but he also said, don't ever defend Farhan again. That is 2 months, almost to the day, after he tweeted how fired up he is about everything that Farhan did this offseason.
Yeah.
I love you, Joe.
But that's the fan experience in them too.
Exactly.
Right,
I have no issue with it.
I got you.
But it's a flip-flop. And you have to admit that.
And it was pain from over the weekend, FP. People were upset.
How did I start the show today?
Yeah.
You can't say that Farhan had a great offseason and you were excited about all the people that he signed and now blame him for what's going on. Right now what's going on is on the players underperforming or being injured. He can, a GM in general or president of baseball ops in general can only assemble a roster and put them out there.
But that's the
best
micro. The macro is we don't have a judge or you didn't get a star in here.
I understand the Farhan disagreement within the within the fan base. I get that. I understand. I'm not stupid, but I'm also saying what's going on right now is not his fault. Yeah. Like he put this team together. He can't go out and have your at bats
or get hurt.
He can't go out and not get hurt. So if you have one take early in the season that you liked who he signed in the offseason, you can't have that take right now.
My hands up.
About you don't like him again. What's going on right now is not his fault. Like, if you want to go on the track record the past couple of years and you want to go down that, I see your side of things, but I also can't blame him for, they just beat the best team in baseball, the Phillies, 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
And the best team. They're better than the Yankees. That's a better team than the New York Yankees, and they beat them 2 out of 3. They could have won 1 out of 3, maybe 2 out of 3 against the Yankees. They didn't. They choked it up the other day. Like, I understand it's a frustrating loss, but as a fan, if you get on this roller coaster with good series, good streak, bad streak, they're great, they suck, they're great, they suck. I mean, that's a hell of a way to go about it, I think, for a 6-month season. Like, just enjoy the ride, 1 game at a time. And then if you look up July 30th and they're selling because they're 20 games out and they're just underperforming and the season is crap, okay, then have that take.
Right.
You're just like, I can't stand this team and da-da-da. But not right now. The trade deadline, they're getting Robbie Ray back. They're getting Alex Cobb back. Wow. Blake Snell might get into form. You just don't know what's going to happen. There's 2 months of baseball before the trade deadline. If they stink then and they're selling then and it's play the young kids then go nuts. But to lose your mind over a 3-game series against one of the best teams in baseball and one of the best. I mean, Gleyber Torres is hitting 8th. He'd hit 3rd for the Giants.
Totally.
I mean, that's how
the whole
deep
lineup would.
That team is deep. Like, I mean, that's a really good baseball.
But it was a reminder, a microcosm of what you're not.
It is, but what FP just said is really important. A lot of people are bringing up an old issue and applying it to today. If you hate Farhan, great. If you're upset with a bunch of things over the last few years, fine. But you can't watch Aaron Judge and Juan Soto play one weekend and then suddenly be mad that they're not on your team. They weren't available this year. That's a year and a half ago problem. So you're bringing all that old memory up.
You're saying move on.
Well, no, I'm not saying move on. If that's your thing, it should have been your thing 2 months ago also. If that made you divorce yourself from Farhan for good, great. You divorced yourself from Farhan for good, and a lot of people did. But I also heard a lot of people 2 and 3 months ago, okay, Farhan, there you go. Now you spent.
Exactly.
That's an actual roster. And then when Aaron Judge comes in and hits 3 homers and 6 at-bats, you're like, you idiot, you didn't get Judge. Well, that was a year and a half ago.
And Bryce Harper, the same thing.
Right. Who's the one actually, in my opinion, they actually had a chance to get and should have got.
So you look at this offseason and you wanted him to bring in a power bat, and they did with Jorge Soler, and he hasn't produced. Okay, long season. You wanted a center fielder, and you got Jung-Hoo Lee, and he was everything you wanted him to be, trending toward that, and he got hurt. He's out for the year. Is that Farhan's fault?
No.
That the fence was more violent than he was? You want him to bring in a top-line starter, and they did. They brought in the Cy Young Award winner, and he's been hurt twice, and he's been ineffective. Is that Farhan's fault? Is it Farhan's fault that he's got a weak adductor? Probably not. I think it's more Scott Boris's fault than it is Farhan's fault. And you want him to bring in a third baseman who could slug, and they did, Matt Chapman. And you mentioned
2 weeks ago he was Brooks Robinson.
He was, and 7 of the guys are all hurt. So how much of that is on Farhan? To me, not that much. And I'm with UFP. Like, if you wake up on August 1st and you are, at that point, 50 and 70, okay, we have a different conversation about the future, but we're not there yet.
All right. We'll be listening. I want to hear that Debo sound.
I can keep going for another hour on this. Have a great show.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah, all right.